Hello, everyone. It is your neighborhood friendly Dara here for Dear Hallmark. And this is my space where we can just chit chat and talk about all things Hallmark. Now, if you were like me, right, and this past weekend you happened to just watch the second episode of Providence Falls, you will know that my guest played a pivotal role in this episode. So, ladies and gents, I need you to come outside. We got to come outside of our homes in Providence Falls. We may want to change our address after this episode because of all the things that went down, but I want you to give it up for the one and only Felicia. I'm calling her middle name Suzette. Come on. Welcome, Felicia. How are you doing?
That was amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. So
Oh,
what I love to do just to kind of break the ice is just to kind of do a fun question and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of our conversation. Which meat and potatoes is appropriate because the question I wanted to ask you, I saw that you were a foodie. So I would love to know what is like the last really good, I'm talking like slobbering, it makes you dream about it meal that you've had recently.
recently, I love Italian food,
Mm,
pasta. Pizza pasta is my kryptonite, but
yeah.
I have to say when I go home to visit my mom and my stepdad, that Jamaican cuisine, oxtail,
Come on.
every
Yes.
time.
All the
It's
things.
always a request,
I
every
love
time.
that. I love
That's so
that.
good.
That's so
Yes.
cool. I know for me, I still think about a fried shrimp sandwich I had in
Ooh,
Florida. We went to this like seafood shack type of place, and the
yeah.
sandwich came with like no sauce, no dressing, no nothing. And I was like, oh, they're bold. Or they
Yeah.
just want me to like put my own, razzle dazzle on it. But really, when I tried the sandwich, like it needed nothing but your saliva to activate all the good things
There's
that was
no way. Was the
I
bun buttered or something?
I don't even know. Literally all that was
Okay.
on it was like lettuce, tomato, and I put after I took a bite and then experienced euphoria, I took some coleslaw and put it on there as well, and it went to the moon and back
Oh
again
my goodness. I gotta try
and
that
back
because I'm a
again.
sauce girly, so anything dry,
Ooh, yeah.
you're losing me.
I hear you. But let's talk about that your origin story as it pertains to acting. Because we would have seen you in Three Wise Men and a Baby and then also Three Wise Men and a Boy, and we know you now as our best friend Suzette. You've made
Suzette.
quite the impression. But can you take us back to little Felicia? Like, would little Felicia be surprised about what she's doing right now? Or would she be like, see, I told you, I knew it. This is what we're doing. Like, what would little Felicia be saying right now?
It would be the second one. You
Mm,
know, it would be this is it. I knew it. But just if little Felicia saw the whole journey, she would be saying,
mm.
finally. Because as a child, I loved being in front of the camera and singing and dancing. And I was mentioning earlier, I would make horror films with my friends. There's one I made in junior high called 105 Stay Alive. It was a horror film with extremely high production value. So that's how it all started. But as I got older, I guess you could say I was afraid to say that I wanted to pursue acting as a career because it was so cliche.
Mm.
So, I went to an art school, I did theater and cheerleading. So the love and the passion was there, and I loved it. I loved being at an art school. And then after, the confusion, as some of us have, after leaving high school, what am I going to do? I
Hmm.
decided to go into pharmacy. So I actually went to school for that, and I did that for a few years. And then, after connecting with good people, good bosses, and friends who were just saying, if this is your passion, you have to put it out there. You never know who might want to or who might be able to help you. And if it's your passion, you have to go for it. So after a few years doing pharmacy, I decided to pursue acting full time. And, as you know, the industry is so up and down,
Yeah.
but my heart is happy. This is where I'm meant to be acting and creating. So here I am now.
What is it you love the most about it? Like, what do you think about it makes your heart so happy?
Overall, I would even say as an actor and a creator, I love sharing stories.
Mm.
I love, whether it be like writing stories or portraying certain characters, I know how art makes me feel, and
Mm-hmm.
creating that or being a part of that and making other people feel that
Mm,
really makes me happy because just genuinely me as a person, I love connection and connecting with people and relating with people.
mm-hmm.
And it just means a lot to me and the person you're connecting with, I feel as well. So, art is such a vulnerable thing. And
Yes,
that's
yes,
really what it is, like sharing stories and feeling represented on screen and
yes.
all those things. So, every part of it I really enjoy.
So because you are across different kind of artistic mediums with writing, dramatic acting in terms of theater, but then also film, I have a kind of a two-part question. What do you think makes a good story? And do you think it changes based on the medium you're using, whether like books or the stage like theater and then film?
That's a great question. I think it does change, especially in like the digital landscape now. Everything is so like quick. So when you're doing anything online, the attention spans are gone after 3 seconds. So when you're doing that, like you got to have the hook, you got to have the excitement immediately. When you're doing a film, conflict is really important. It makes an exciting story, as you can see in Providence Falls, like the whole twist. It's very
Ooh,
surprising, but it makes it very exciting.
I'm sorry. We're
Yeah.
gonna get there, but oh my gosh.
So conflict, and me as a viewer, I love romance and tension. It's so real, and it kind of just milks the journey instead of getting straight to the end. And I'm not like I don't write literature, I don't write books, but when it comes to reading novels, I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of books because it's so much of your imagination, so you can go slower and you can really milk everything.
Yes.
So in a movie, a slow burn is kind of like, can you get to the point, please, for some people? But in a book, your mind, like you're part of the creative process. So the books can definitely go slower from beginning to end.
I love that so much because I'm an avid reader and I'm also a writer
Oh,
of literature. But here you use my favorite word, imagination. That's like my favorite word because I know for myself I feel like that's our strongest asset as humans is our
yes.
imagination because it
Yes.
can empower us to do things that we ourselves never thought that we were even capable of, all because
Absolutely.
it started up here. And I agree with you 100% about art. Like art to me, I have such a love for it and a passion for it, and I'm so excited to share that with people in conversation with you. So I am curious if, because you've worked in these different mediums, were there different things that you had to adjust? And I know, like with theater and movies, like you have the camera and then you had the stage. But what do you feel like was your biggest adjustment when you transitioned from theater to film?
I would probably say time in the sense of in film, rehearsal it depends on the project, and especially now with the way things are going with budgets, things happen a lot quicker. So you kind of have to speed up the process of connecting. So, you might rehearse on your own time with an actor, and sometimes you just don't have the time to rehearse with them. So you really just have to know the script, know the character,
Mm,
and just trust yourself. And, being in a scene with someone is really give and take. So being open to what someone is giving you and vice versa. So it's a quicker process. You just have to adapt faster.
mm,
With theater, it may be the same amount of time, maybe 3 months, but you only get like 4 or 5 shows. I'm thinking like small scale theater. I haven't done Broadway, but you only get a few shows to really get it right or to do it. But that rehearsal time, you have all those times to connect, and you play theater games and you do all these things with your other characters to really form a bond.
mm,
So
mm-hmm.
I feel like, just comparing the two, having a theater background is so great. And for film, you just really have to condense that, you know? Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so interesting. So I've been debating. I've been debating whether I want to ask you this question or not.
Well,
And
uh-oh.
no.
Thank you for
It's not
reminding me. I'm
a,
ready.
no, it's not a bad question. But I think I'm just curious because I've heard it said that film is a filmmaker's medium versus theater being an actor's medium. And I'm curious, as someone who has done both, what your thoughts would be on that.
I would have to agree and disagree. I
Yeah.
mean, because there's more, actually, I won't say there's more, creativity and flexibility. I feel like with that statement, with film, it's really the technical aspect. So with theater, you're getting the energy from a live audience and you're free, you have the stage and you can do things and things are different. And in film, sometimes you have that freedom and flexibility, which is great, but you also have to think of the technical aspects of it all, whether your arm movements are too big for frame or looking here, and some things get really technical, like what lens you're using, how tight is this shot. So I won't say that specifically that term is a hard yes, because it's kind of saying that people who work in film aren't true artists, which isn't true.
Right.
I see a lot of films with brilliant actors, and I think it's such a great talent to be able to bring what you do on theater to bring it on screen, knowing all those things that go on in the background with the technical side. Okay, that was great, but try not to overlap their lines or try not to move too far this way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So there's that difficult part of it, but they're both beautiful artistic processes. One is
Yeah.
just more technical than the other.
Yeah. Okay, I can't hold it back anymore. Let's talk about Hallmark. So, so how firstly, what was your like did you know about Hallmark before you came into the world? Like, or what was your perception of Hallmark upon getting your first role within the Hallmark universe?
Um, I watched a lot of Hallmark. I love Hallmark, and it's always something that just made me happy. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. So definitely watch a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies, and it's nice seeing favorite actors from, back in the day, as well as new actors as well. So yeah, the Hallmark vibe is very, happy. And when I think Christmas time, I think Hallmark. And now with the way things are going and the content they're putting out, it's so exciting. Taking a bit of more of a risk and having these in-depth stories, and The Way Home is one of my favorites.
Ah,
So yeah, I love watching that and that whole confusing, exciting storyline. So yeah, of course you have the happy Christmas movies, but now they're switching it up, which is exciting. Even Three Wise Men and a Baby, that franchise,
yes.
it is happy, it is Christmas, but the comedy, I loved it so much after reading the script. It's my kind of comedy, like that dry comedy, which I find so funny. It's so well written. So yeah, I enjoyed it then, and I'm enjoying it even more now.
Yes. So, all right, let's get to it because people got questions, okay?
Oh,
Because we just saw episode 2 of Providence Falls, and my pearls are still clutched.
oh gosh.
I'm still doing like, what is going on? First, okay, so we just gonna start in the middle and work our way around and see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
So when you were doing the read of the script for that second episode, what was going through your head? First of all, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen this already. I'm sorry. Cut me off and watch it first, and then come back because I can't hold it in. I gotta spoil this right now. So, what was going through your head when you read the script for episode 2 and you found out what happened with, like, what was going on with Suzette?
So really through the audition process, I kind of got a piece of the beginning and a piece of the end. So in the
Oh,
beginning, it was, very much Cora's best friend, supportive and love triangle, which we all love,
yes,
choosing between two amazing men.
yes.
So that was a lot of fun. But then when they wanted me to read again, they said, there's more juice, there's more depth to this character. This is what happens. So I kind of jumped to, the scripts from episode 3. So I knew where the character ended up. But then after reading the scripts throughout and seeing the whole journey, it was more shocking just because of the relationship,
Yes.
how strong it was with how strong it was with Cora. So the beginning, since I knew what happened, but it was exciting to me because I said, oh, as a best friend character to have this twist is really exciting and makes a great film.
Oh
But
my goodness.
harder because seeing the journey. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I have no, my neighbors probably thought something was really going on with me because I was yelling at my TV, like, what is happening? Like, I literally yelled that in at my TV. Okay, so Suzette has a very interesting journey within Providence Falls. What would you say though? Because I feel like, well, I'm not gonna say anything. I'll let you say it. What is kind of your favorite quality about Suzette?
I like a lot of things about Suzette. She's that best friend that everybody wants to have. She's outgoing, she's confident, she's the kind of person that will say things that maybe you're too afraid to say or do things that you're too afraid to do and you can just tag along. So if you're an introvert, you like to be around those kind of people sometimes. She's also very supportive of Cora and her career and her endeavors and,
Yeah,
being in her industry as a woman, it's a bit difficult
yeah,
at times. And then second chances, something
yeah,
that, she's mentioned, oh, it's a side project, but Suzette lets her know, like, what you're doing is amazing.
yeah.
And we have that moment where I mentioned, I wish I had something like that when I was growing up. And she really means that because maybe her, like Suzette's, journey would have been a lot different. She'd be making different choices.
Yeah. What was the filming process like for this because of it being a continuation trilogy and not just like it's kind of different from the Three Wise Men trilogy in that it's
Right.
kind of like three separate stories, whereas this is one kind of continuation story. What was the filming process like for this one?
So we shot in 3 months. So, like you said, the movies were shot, consecutively, but the different scenes were shot at different times.
Mm-hmm.
So, for Lachlan, Katie, and Evan, it was just nonstop go, go, go. Because, we'd shoot one, then they went to Ireland, and then continue with the others. So it was pretty nonstop. Suzette's character isn't in Ireland, so I did get a bit of a break. But it's really like shooting a TV series. You're just continuing on until the end.
Wow. Okay. So, okay, two scenes. The first one, you're outside. I forget that dive bar.
Wild Hog, the pool,
Yes, yes,
the biker
and
bar.
it all goes down. This is where it started going down for me because Suzette cuts her hand on some glass that a server broke. Fence season is like, oh my gosh, let me get you something to wrap it up. Da 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 da. And then y'all begin to have a moment. And what was okay? So like that flipped my wig, and that was also another yell at the TV moment. But I'm curious. Like, did what were your thoughts reading through that? Like, was that something on your? I mean, I know you mentioned about where Suzette ends up, but like, did you know how it would start? Like, did you have any inkling like when in the process it would start, or like what were your thoughts about that?
That's a really good point. So as for like the main juice of Suzette's arc, like the beginning and the end, I knew about coming into this, but the things in between, like that little something that she shares with Finn, I didn't know about until reading the full scripts. So that was really exciting. We have the love triangle, but it was also exciting to see people's reactions of like, oh my goodness, could she have something? And, I've mentioned this before, Suzette just feeling guilty and not feeling like she's worthy of love, but I think she does deserve it.
Yes.
So it's such an interesting journey, and I'm hoping that she finds someone. But that was exciting to read. I didn't know that she would have that kind of journey, that little moment
That
with
was
Finn.
exciting to watch. It was surprising to watch because again, it was not on my radar at all. So the fact that it started, I know the viewers were just like, hold the phone, like what is going on? And then we need to get to like the hue, like this is it. This is what is to me like the defining twist of the whole series. And again, spoiler alert for my friends and neighbors who haven't seen it yet. I This is just like, I need you to stop it right here and watch it, because this is what I'm about to say, I'm going to spoil it. So, when we find that she actually works for Bale, played by the wonderfully talented Niall Mater, who, again, as a Hallmark person myself, wig is going.
Yeah.
So, what, like, talk us through that. Like, talk, because our emotions are everywhere right now as viewers. We don't know up from down. We don't know left from right. What we thought we knew, we don't. What we thought we saw is not there anymore. So, like, talk, just talk, like, hold our hands and talk us through this plot point in Suzette's journey in Providence Falls.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's very nice to hear that it's been so well received, because these all of these films, it's really what happens in life. People make difficult choices, and we want to do what's best for ourselves, but also want to do what's best for the people around us. And it was just so great having the conversation about Suzette's journey with the directors, Lucy and Siobhan, and Joanna, our executive producer. They were so excited about Suzette's storyline, and they really wanted to make sure that she wasn't perceived as the villain. It's not such a black and white situation. So in that last cliffhanger you see in episode 2, Suzette's her expression is kind of unreadable. So even though she's sitting there with Bale, it's kind of like, okay, she doesn't look happy or doesn't look sinister. What's going on? It poses so many questions, which I'm very grateful it came across that way, because everything will be explained in episode 3. But really, it's just so many difficult choices, and it's not black and white, and there's so much backstory there. And she really does have love for Cora, so much love for Cora. So I'm excited for things to get explained in episode 3, and then people will be like, okay. Yeah.
So, for people who may not be regular Hallmark watchers, or maybe they are Christmas only Hallmark watchers and don't even bother with like non-holiday content, what would you say to them to say, listen, I know how you feel, but this right here, I need you to watch it? What would you like? How would you entice them to watch it?
I would say, these movies are a mixture of everything. You're going to get a bit of everything, and just the happiness and the connection and the romance of the Christmas movies that you love are in these movies. And there's a lot of romance and a lot of tension, and, dealing with different characters. So you definitely have to check it out and give it a watch, because it has pieces of the same Hallmark make that people know and love. With the cinematography is beautiful, the locations
Yes.
are beautiful. So overall, it's just a really enjoyable watch. And I think, for those who are just not wanting to give it a chance, I think they'd be pleasantly surprised about, what these films will make them feel.
If my reaction wasn't testament enough to how this movie will, I describe it as like my emotions were a washcloth and the movie just like wrung it out to dry and just left me there and with no hope, no no hope. And I've seen the third one, so even still I'm just like,
Oh,
I'm just
I've been
needless.
hearing this a lot. I think there was an interview with Katie and Lachlan. Someone mentioned a movie hangover. So it's
It's
definitely the
yes.
theme.
I'm just like, oof, like the feeling this movie gives me. I described it to someone. It's as if like my crush finally told me that they liked me. Like that's the same type of like giggly
Excitement?
excitement that I got while watching this movie. Like it's so well written, so well done. Like you're invested in every single person. Like like to me this is more ensemble. Like I know we got our three homies with Katie, Lachlan, and Evan, but I feel like I'm invested in everybody. I want to know what Dad is up to. I want to know what the Chief is up to. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yes.
everybody's role is so significant and stands out to me in this movie. And my compliments to the chef for this one. This one was just, girl, you played that. That was so great. That was so great. So
Oh, thank
Felicia,
you. I'm so
I
glad you
just
enjoy it.
thank you. I just want to, first of all, thank you for coming into the home of Dear Hallmark. It was a pleasure
Thank you for
talking
having
with
me.
you.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so, what I love to do with all of my guests is just give them the last word here. So, literally, you can talk about anything you want to talk about before we head out. You could talk about M&Ms, traveling. Literally, it's your moment to have here. So, I'll let you have the last word here.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for having me again. If you want to follow my journey for my dramedy series that I am producing and I wrote, it's called Dating at Chronicles. You can follow that on Instagram. And you definitely have to tune in this Saturday to watch the third episode where everything is revealed of Providence Falls, Thief of Fate. It's amazing. There's more romance, more tension, and excitement. There's some action. And if you haven't watched the others, definitely binge watch all three. You'll definitely
Yes.
like
Yes, I know I said I'll let you have the last word, but I just need y'all to know that I renewed my lease in Providence Falls. I'm here to stay.
it.
I need more
Oh,
of this. I need more of this. It really is so good. So
I'm so
everyone, like Felicia said, please, I it behooves you to watch that final episode, and if you haven't already, please just binge them all. Treat yourself, light a candle, get some sparkling water or your favorite beverage, and just go in and don't come back out until you finished all three episodes. Well, everyone, that's going to do it for me for here at Dear Hallmark. She's Felicia and I'm Dara, and I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao, my friends.
bye.